Okay. That's better. Now let me go get myself something to drink and then I'll get started. Traveled each and every highway, more, much more than this. I did my way. All right, perfect. Already done. Good. All right, now switch back over to the game. And pull up the chat so that I can see what the heck's going on there. No, I don't need to hear that ad. Shut the heck up. I don't need to hear the ad. There. All right. Hey, what's up, guys? Finally on, finally on. Anybody here heard about Will Smith slapping? Yeah, I heard all about that. Whatever. I don't really care for that. All right. Any update about the baby crocodile? He's still doing okay. Oh yeah, nice singing. I was in it was in the kitchen pouring myself something to drink. That's why it was hard to hear. You weren't. I didn't know anyone could hear me. All right. Anyway, yeah, I haven't played For Honor all day. I've been kind of in and out all night, all day really. Just been kind of napping on and off, just kind of spending the day resting mostly. But now that I am back, let's go ahead and get this started. So what have we got for orders? All right, I've got 2 breach things going on. We'll have to save those for later though. Let's go Strong Slayer. Yeah, we can do that. Works for me. And we're going into the Wyverndale thing because that's still getting us extra XP and I want to take advantage of that. Okay, let's get started. So anyway, all right, Raven, I'm on bot duty tonight. Thank you, Grimlock. Oscar from Sharktail slapped Marty from Madagascar. It is canon now. It is canon. All right, we're going to start off tonight with, let's go Warlord. I very rarely go Warlord, and I want to give Warlord some love. Besides, I've got a Strong Slayer order, so let's use our Strong Boy. Nice to see Raven on. I just learned that Anita Sarkeesian, the Destroyer of Gaming and Royal thing, and I need something to pick up the mood. What about Anita Sarkeesian? I don't. Did something new happen with her? I thought that she faded from relevance. Hey Raven, will the Orcs from Rana and Goy fight Jormungandr? I will not release anything about that yet. Hello everybody. Oh, by the way, apparently you can flip your allies with Lawbringer Longarm. I can? That'd be crazy. I wasn't able to join my friends for a night out, so this is the perfect thing to pass the time. Well, glad you could join us, Zachary. Hello, Ecstatic Ethan. So what's this I saw about a hopeless romantic? Just joined the stream. Oh, y'all should know, I have no rhyme or reason why I name anything. I just kind of do what I want. But if I'm being honest, yeah, I am a hopeless romantic. I really am. Y'all, I tell you what, some of the favorite things I love to write are romance stories, like love stories, like romantic scenes. Even though I'm absolutely terrible. I'm terrible at writing stuff like that. I love romance. I love the genre of it. I wish I were better at it. Here we go. Turn that one around. Save your butt, JJ. You owe me a Coke. Kyoshin, he's got a shield. I'll leave that to you people. Oh, hi. What are you... Oh, ultimate pair. What is this guy doing? What? I got rid of that guard break. Come on. Whatever. Whatever. You think what you like, Sense. Do you have a bit preference between the male or female perspective in romance stories? Honestly, I usually prefer reading from the male perspective because I don't think people do that very often. Quite often when people write romance stories, it's always from the perspective of the chick. It's always from the perspective of the female because the female audience is usually what goes for the romance stories, right? It's kind of like, oh, well, we love ourselves women love romance, so we're going to write it from the women's perspective so that they can feel invested in the romantic story. And it makes sense. But as a guy, I'm like, I'd like some stories about men in love. I'd like some stories about men who find a woman who appreciates them. Quite often in female love stories, it's always the girl is looking for a guy to take care of them. And I'm like, maybe a guy wants a girl who cares about them, you know? Oh yeah, I forgot. You're... Oh well, I did some damage. That's what matters. Anyway, but I always feel like, shouldn't there be some stories out there where the guy, you know, gets some loving from the girl? I'm not talking about, like, sex. I mean just affection. You know, like, one thing that I've noticed a lot in, especially, teen romance novels, where there's a guy, where the girl is falling for this guy, the guy is always this dangerous asshole. Y'all ever notice that? Like, they're always, like, this dangerous jerk who is really unhinged. Oh well. I gave it my best. That's all anyone can do. Anyway, what was I talking about? But yeah, in a lot of those teen drama and romance stories, quite often the guy is this overly aggressive, empowered jerk. Like, they usually are very dangerous guys, like the kind of guy you'd want to avoid or call the police about. And the girl thinks that they can help him or save him because the guy somehow makes her his obsession or whatever. Like, you get this with stuff like Gideon Grey, Twilight, stuff like that. And I hate that because most guys that I know anyway aren't like that at all. I'm not like that. If I find a girl who's genuinely interested in me, I want to do everything I can for them. That's the way I am. But at the same time, I also want a girl who loves me, like, respects me, doesn't see me as a meal ticket, doesn't see me as someone who's just gonna, you know, fawn them with affection, and I get nothing out of it. Like, I think that in today's society, I'm not trying to go on a Ravens rant this early in the night, but it's one of those things where I feel like in today's society, we have this expectation of romance that is totally false. We think that romance is going to be, oh, you know, girls are showered with affection from the guy, just showered with affection, and they have sex whenever they feel like it, you know? That's not the way real relationships should work, at least not the way I feel they should work. I feel like a true relation, like an actual relationship, should be built on mutual trust, mutual affection, you know, where they actually support each other, care about each other, something beyond just, hey, you'll bang me, right? Sex should not be the start of relationships. I hate that that's this idea, like, there's this idea that, you know, guys and girls, you know, first, if you don't have sex, you're somehow a lesser person. I was made fun of in college when I said, when I was one of the only ones in the, I think junior or senior class who said, yeah, I have not had sex. I'm a virgin. I have not had sex yet. And they're like, are you serious, man? I'm like, why? I'm not married. And they're like, oh, it's not important. I feel it should be. I really do feel this should be. And I'm not talking from a religious perspective either. I'm talking from just a practical perspective. look at it this way, okay? If I'm a woman, right? If I was a woman and I was dating this guy, and he decided to ask me to marry him, and on our first night where we're finally going to have sex, he told me, you're not my first one. I know what to do." I would feel a little hurt because I would feel like, oh, okay, so I'm just another woman. It's just another lay. You've had the practice. I feel like if I was a woman and a man told me, "I saved myself for you, I waited for you because I wanted my first time to be special," that, to me anyway, again, from my perspective, to me would be far more romantic, far more meaningful, and a stronger relationship overall. I want a man to, well, again, a woman, in my opinion, should want a man to put them first. Okay? If I were just to sleep around with women just for the sake of it, because I want to, then how does that make the girl I'm going to marry special? How does that make them special? How does that show them affection? It's just saying, oh, well, just another, oh, crap. Crap. Oh, well. Anyway, where was I? I was reading comments. Okay. Raven, can you tell us one of your love stories? Oh, let's see. I have a few. Most of them are just short love stories. I have one. Let's see. Give me a second. My mind's kind of distracted. I'm thinking about For Honor and thinking about my love stories right now. Let me think. One is a long one called "I Live with a Witch," which is exactly what you would sound. It's exactly what you're thinking. It's about this guy who moves into a cottage with a witch, and hey, romantic hijinks ensues. It was kind of when I was getting started writing, so it's really not that good. I kind of need to go back and rethink that one a little bit. But yeah, that one's one of my love stories. What's another, like, one that I'm really proud of? Sometimes I write romances into my stories, like The Tale of Tomiki, which was mostly an action shonen style story. There we go. Attaboy, JJ. I can't even get over there. Run away now. Run away now. There we go. That turned everything around. I'm going to go get a shield. And now I'm going to go to A. What's up, P-Rat? Damn it. This is not going well. Pirate and their dodge cancels. I swear, the best thing they can do to Pirate is get rid of her dodge cancels. That, to me, if you get rid of her dodge cancels, it would really help, because I feel like there's no real way to punish a Pirate. That's the issue I have with her.
You captured Zone A.
Alright, looks like we're fighting here. That was easy. Why did you make that? You're a Kyoshin! You should have run circles around me. Did you really do a charged heavy off of a guard break? I know you were not that stupid. I guess honor only exists when you want it to. Wow, thanks, Kyoshin. Thanks, Kyoshin. I do like that. We're all going to be honorable. We're all going to do one-on-one duels when we feel like it. But then once we get killed, nope, we're going to run in and gank. I love it, you coward. Well, whatever. Anyway, love stories. I also had one called The Last Night. It was a story about this guy who had this crush on a girl at school. Really wanted to get close to her. Really wanted to get to know her better. But nothing he did ever seemed to make a difference. What he didn't know is that she was suicidal. She's been dealing with a lot of depression lately due to family problems. And yeah, how'd that feel, you dumbass?
Your team is breaking.
Keep it up, Hitakiri. Come on.
Your team rallied.
There. I feel better about that. Anyway, so he finds out that she's suicidal when he tries to call her up to finally work up the nerve to ask her out, right? He says, I'm finally going to work up this nerve. But she doesn't answer the phone. And so he decides to text her, see if she's okay. Finally, she calls him and says not to call her anymore, and he apologizes, you know, typical polite thing to do. And she's crying. He asks if she's okay. She says she doesn't want to talk about it. And then she says that, and then he says, fine, then maybe we can see each other at school. And she just says, I'm not going to school tomorrow. And that makes him even more scared. So he decides to go by her place the next day to...
Zone A.
Please stop making this so easy for
Your
me.
team is breaking.
Done. Ah, great, you. Again, stop making this easy for me. A little nervous now, I see. You coward. Had to run in and try to get the killing move, I see. I love it.
You lost, so be it. Your team is breaking.
Oh well, I'm down for good this time. Next.
You captured zone
Anyway, yeah, everyone's talking about the conch moment there. Oh, where did I leave off? Oh yeah, I was talking about the last night. So he goes to visit her before school the next day, and he hears crying. So he goes in, he opens the door, and he finds she's sitting in her bedroom with a knife, and she tells him to go out and get away from her. She's going to stab herself. So without even thinking, without even wasting time, he runs and hugs her as fast as he can, right as she's about to impale herself, and she ends up stabbing him in the back while she's doing it. Like, cause like think about it, like she's got the knife aimed at her chest. He runs in and gets under her arms to hug her, goes right into his back. And he explains that he loved her enough to take the blow. And I left it on a cliffhanger whether or not he would live or not. But the idea is that he was willing to make the sacrifice, willing to save her from herself. A short little love story that I wrote when I was much younger. Not much to that one. Let's see. I know I've written more than that. Oh yeah, there's My Alien Girlfriend. Holy crap. That one was my first attempt at an actual novel. Oh man. I finished it. I did finish that story, but I never liked it. Not that I didn't like writing it, but I never felt like it was good enough. I never felt like I did it right. I always felt like, nah, this could have been better. This could have been so much better than it was. But yeah, I love writing romance because I think that romance is one thing that I need to actually do better. I need to actually be better at writing romance. But also because, I think that romance is a underrated genre. I think that romance gets this bad reputation as just chick flick nonsense, just Hallmark movie stuff, when in reality I think there's a lot you can do with a romance. Oh my gosh, are we about to clutch this? Are we about to Come on guys, hold out. You just gotta beat Scent. You just gotta beat Scent. Don't let him take A. I'm gonna take a look at this. Dang it! Oh, I thought we were about to clutch. Nope. I thought my sacrifice was about to bear fruit. Yeah, you got that one. Oh well. Let me check the chat again, because I was kind of watching that, got distracted. So even Twilight was better than Raylo. Oh God, the Raylo ship. There are so many ships that they've done in popular media now that I can't stand, like Raylo, Korasami, stuff like that. Like, not that most of them make no sense. Like, I think that it's just people pandering. Like, oh, is this is this ship a thing? Oh, let's keep it going. Romance is done so poorly nowadays. Very rarely executed well, very little chemistry. I probably do need to do a Ravens writing room talking about romance and chemistry and stuff like that. I probably do need to do a full Ravens writing room on that. Alright, let's do one more of these, and then we'll switch over to Dominion for a few matches, and then go to Breach. But romance nowadays is just written so poorly. Like, most romance stories I can't watch or read. This reminds me of a story I'm working on with Yuri from DDLC and Tabi from FNF. Cool. I don't know who Tabi is, but I'm glad that you're finding stuff like that to work on. I still got to do a heavy. I think I'll go to Heavy Boy. Or, no, I got to go Yorm, because Yorm is getting really close, and I want her to get further up. So let's go Yorm. Let's go Jormungandr. Jormungandr. Anyway, but yeah, to me, romance, when writing a romantic story, the key for me is, first of all, chemistry. The characters have to actually have something going on between each other. It doesn't have to be a whole lot, but it has to be something believable. Like, for example, this is going to sound weird, but 101 Dalmatians, the original, not the remake, the original. In the original 101 Dalmatians, people like to make fun of how fast they got married, because Roger and Anita literally met at the park. Pongo tied up the two's legs using his leash, and they ended up falling into the water. And when they get up trying to dry themselves off, she tries to pull out her handkerchief to dry herself off, and then Roger pulls out his, which is longer, and says, "Take mine," but both are wet. And they laugh over it, and then in the very next scene, after they're done laughing, they're married. You know, they're getting married, and people make fun of the fact that was like the most rushed thing ever. And I point out, yes, it was, but was there chemistry? Very little of it, but there was. You can point out that. Oh, hold on. Bye. That happened. All right. Got him. There we go. Fat man down. And you're next, Buttercup. By the will of God, I baptize thee in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen, brother. Anyway. But yes, after their marriage, we do see that there's chemistry between the two. The two are talking to each other. It's very friendly. It's affectionate. They have, like, for example, I love the scene where Roger's writing the tune to Cruella de Vil, and as he's coming down, he's whistling it, and he asks her, "Do you like my new song?" And he doesn't do it just, "Do you like my new song?" He sings it, "Do you like my new song?" And she goes, "Ta-tum, ti-tum-tum," like clever lyrics, but then he goes, "Ah, it's the melody first, and then the lyrics." And then they have a cute little moment together, and it... Again, it's very affectionate. It's done very... Oh, hold on. Ah, crap. There we go. Thanks, Pirate. Appreciate it. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So we see that there's a little bit of chemistry there. They're playing off of each other. Their banter is good. They show affectionate moments to each other. There is chemistry. And then after Cruella shows up and Roger's up there trolling her with his music, even after he leaves and Anita's clearly put off with his behavior, she still laughs and they kiss each other, saying, "Roger, you really are an idiot." And I'm like, that's chemistry. We see there's actual affection here. This isn't a romance that I don't believe. I feel it is legitimate. And so there is genuine chemistry. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. You've just got to show that these characters have a realistic looking and feeling relationship. Oh, crap. Bonk. There you go. I knew you couldn't resist the light combo. Light, kick, heavy. Very effective of you. Griffin monkey brain action right here. Well, don't worry, I'll kick your butt later. I'm going to go to A, because there's someone sitting in A, and I want to get rid of him. Oh, wait, now he's not. Well, then I'll just go to A anyway. I'm already going that way. But yeah, so, and then there's also the argument that, okay, so when I was doing my responses to Matt CMG, he made a portion about the Korra-Asami relationship. And he argued that even though it may not have been handled well, there was enough information dropped to indicate that it could be a thing. And Mike and Brian had admitted that they'd been planning that relationship as early as season 2. There you go, Goki. Glad you got to gank up on me and prove that you are a true life Goki. Because as we know, this Goki cannot stick it out on his own. Anyway, and my response to that was, okay, even if they had the plan from season 2, it was handled ridiculously bad. But the problem that I have with it is not that it was handled bad, it's that whenever someone criticizes it and says, yeah, this isn't a good or well-established relationship, the response is always, oh, so you're a homophobe. No, I'm not a homophobe. I have issue with the way it was written. Oh, hold on, let's deal with this. Ha, I did damage. I'm dead. Anyway, it was written so poorly. Like, where was the chemistry between the two? People will say, oh, they wrote letters between each other. Girls do that all the time. I write letters to my parents. I write letters to my grandparents. I write letters to my friends. What, if I suddenly send an email to a girl, does that suddenly mean we're meant to be? I really do think people don't understand what relationships are, like how chemistry works. Chemistry isn't just time spent with each other, it's affection. There are clear-cut signs that show relationships.
You captured Zone B. You captured Zone A.
There we go. Yeah, not so fun, is it? You know, when you get ganked up on, it's not as fun. There's just something really off about it, you know. And I get it. It's never an easy thing to deal with, but sometimes, you know. Oh, God. Ran right into that, didn't I? That was kind of dumb of me. Maybe there's a shield I can get.
You captured Zone B.
Nope, it's not ready. Someone else already grabbed it. Lord Ramiel is back. Oh, no. Oh, well. I'm not fighting him right now. I'm going to B. Because my boy's about to be ganked from 3 different directions. There we go. That took care of him. That cleared the air. Anyway, but that's my thing. I don't think people understand how to write chemistry anymore. They think as long as you have a male and female or female and female or whatever gender dimorphic you want there, as long as they're interacting with each other and being in the same space, then they just count it as, oh, well, that's chemistry. That's all you needed. And I'm like, no, that is not all you needed.
The enemy rally.
Oh, you've turned into this now. Better run, boy. You about to burn. There we go.
You captured Zone A. Enemy team is breaking. The enemy rallies.
Ah, I had to do that about face thing. I like it. Hey, you won. Good job. Goki can't win on his own, so find a friend. Anyway. Drink. There we go. I feel better. Alright, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Go to A because it looks like they need it. How are we doing bot-wise? Ah, each of us has a bot. And both bots are pirates. This is anyone's game now.
You captured Zone A. Enemy team is breaking.
Good move, Goki. Hug for the win. There you go. Get him, Griffin. Get him, Griffin. Ah, damn it.
You lost Zone A.
Alright, we're all back, and now the party's about to get started.
Is breaking.
The party's about to get... Oh, here comes Pirate. Here comes Pirate. Boom! Come on, Pirate, do it again. And now let's finish you off. Wah! Boom! One down. What's up, big boy?
You captured Zone B. Time is running out.
Come on. Come on. Damn it. Come on, guys. You've got the advantage. Just waste them. Waste them, boys. Waste them. Yeah. Get Doki. Get Doki. Yeah. We got the fat man. How'd I do? How'd I do? Oh, okay. 12 takedowns. I can live with that. I can live with that. That ain't bad. Now give me the hammer. Woo! Bonk. Yeah. That do be how it is. Hey, Raven, do you think there should be more dark cartoons in media? Define dark. I've just expected that Ubisoft doesn't care about the Wulan. I don't think they do either. I decided to run a mile today, now my lungs don't know how to act. I used to run quite a few miles back in my day. Back when I ran cross country, you had to run a 5K for every meet, and so that was fun. I think my longest record was 10 miles. I think that's the longest I've run without stopping. And let me tell you, that was intense. All right, we're going out of that. We're heading on over to a Dominion. And I've had an interesting request. Hannah has asked me to play Deborah, so I will be playing Deborah next. Hey Raven, what's your opinion on Conqueror lore-wise? Do you think him or do you like him? Think he's interesting? He's kind of the antithesis of what a knight should be, which I find is really cool. I like Conqueror. I think Conqueror's neat. Historically, it doesn't make sense because you wouldn't conscript criminals and make them knights. You might make them mercenaries. You might make them highwaymen. You might make them bandits to go and sack a town early for you. You wouldn't conscript them and make them a knight. I think he's cool. I think he looks neat. So the lore is fine. Historically, he is not quite there. But that's just me. That is just my opinion. Alright, I've been asked to play Deborah, so let's break out Deborah. Yeah, boy. We got Deborah in the house. Raven, do you think the chemistry between Eva and Wally is more than well written or just well written? I think it's very well written. I think that Wally as a character is fascinating. I hate when anyone criticizes an LGBT relationship. They immediately play the victim card and immediately start throwing the buzzword of the day. I criticize LGBT relationships when they're written poorly. I don't criticize them just for being LGBT relationships. Like Korosami, horribly written. It has nothing to do with their gay status. It has everything to do with it was horribly written. In fact, it was so horribly written, Mike and Brian had to come out in a post later and admit that's what they did because people were so unsure. Now, why were they unsure? They wouldn't be unsure. Because here's the thing. What did they do? What did they do as their last sign of romance? They walked to the spirit portal together holding hands. Now, here's the thing. Imagine if they ended the original Avatar The Last Airbender with Aang and Katara not kissing, but just holding each other's hands in that same way. I probably would not have had to guess what that implied. I would have gone, ha-ha, they're finally romantically involved. Because they built that up so well. They established everything. They gave them good chemistry, gave them plenty of moments to expand and grow upon their relationship. This feels earned. I would have liked them to have kissed, but this still shows me what I wanted to see. With Korosami, the relationship was so poorly written and so half-assed that when they held hands, people were going, wait, are they a thing? Or what are they doing? Are they like just friends, or are they in a relationship? We don't know how to take this. So Mike and Brian had to say, okay, yes, they're in a relationship. And then everyone said, yay, LGBTQ represent. And I go, can you really say that's good representation when even the creators were half-assing it? God, imagine if they did stuff like that with Beauty and the Beast. Or no, Snow White. You know how Snow White had to get kissed by a prince to wake up? Imagine if the prince just held her hand and said, wow, you're beautiful, and holds her hand, and then that woke her up? Oh man, I feel the relationship just dripping off the screen, don't you? Flip. Is this what we're gonna do, guys? Damn it. I had him too. And then all three of them ganked up. Ah, well. But yeah, that's my issue. I don't care if you want to do a gay relationship, but make it a relationship. And I don't mean show them kissing. I mean show the chemistry. Show them doing things together. Like, don't just half-ass it. Because if you just show the kiss and say, look, representation, I would say that's tokenism. Not actual relationship. It's kind of like just saying, oh, we need black representation in our characters. Let's just add a black character. Yeah, I should have seen that coming. A gladiator running to an easy ledge location. Who would have thought? Alright, Glad, if that's the way you want to play this game, that's the way we're going to have to play this game, I think. Leave it to a gladiator to suck all the fun out of a game where he... Let me guess, you're going to run back over here? Yep, here we go. Thank you, Warlord! Oh, vengeance is sweet. Are you kidding? You deflected through a light? Oh, you bitch! God, that ticks me off. I thought I had you. Then you deflected through a light. How do you even pull that off? I mean, deflecting through a heavy? Yeah, not too difficult to believe.
You captured Zone C.
What the? What happened? My controller. Oh, damn it! My controller freaking died on me. 1 second.
You lost Zone C.
Fix this. Hold on. Okay. Fix that. Doesn't matter. I was gonna die anyway. The gank is real. Have I gotten a kill? I've gotten 4 kills. Okay. Alright, here we go. We're in A. Taking A. Good, good, good.
Zone A.
I'm gonna head over to C. Because our poor pirate's been over there this whole time and can't seem to get a win against, what, Kyoshin, I think?
You lost Zone A.
There you go, pirate. Now finish him off. Come on, pirate. Oh, well. Sorry I haven't checked the chat. It's just trying to focus. These guys are... Either they're really good or they're just very competent gankers. Either way, I don't like them. Going to A. Oh, let me guess. Gladiator's going to come running down here. Oh, you're not? You're just going to stay up there and emote? Whoa! Please keep it up, you bitch. This kill is mine.
Zone A.
You bitch.
Enemy team is breaking.
And you're dead, Glad. How does that feel, I wonder? You like the feel of that? How'd that feel, Glad? You like that feel? Was it a good feel? Hold on, Warlord. I'm a-coming. Oh, come on, I was healing. Shouldn't my ability heal me? That was weird. Oh, well, we still won. Deborah got the win. Deborah for the win. Yes, lights and dodge heavies. Would you like a bit of emote spam with that, sir? Raven, do you have any stories about barbarians? Yes, but they're not specifically about barbarians. They're about encounters with barbarians. What do you think is the most cliche thing in romance these days, Raven? The most cliche thing? I think the most cliche thing I've ever seen in a romance was the... oh, God. What is it? What is it? The bad boy trope. I hate that trope so much. Like, you have this guy who's just too cool for words. But they're also misunderstood. Like, it's this whole idea of, oh, you just don't understand me. Like, I've got this whole thing, and I'm detached, and the girl has to reach out to them and help. I'm like, it is such poor writing. It is such poor writing. Hold on, I need to adjust my order real. Wait, what? Oh, I'm already in the match. Okay, in the match. Yeah! Let's do it. Hey, Raven, have you ever watched the movie Get Out? I have. I didn't like it. I did not like it. I've been given a request to do Kensei next. Alright, I will do Kensei. But be warned, I'm not good at Kensei. Actually, to be fair, I'm not good at any of these characters. Raven, do you think there should be more cartoons about male warriors? In what context? Listening to the stream while I cook, I like hearing your insights even though I might not agree with you on everything. I never ask everyone to agree with me. I'm just offering my points of view. If you disagree with me, please do. Like, for example, like, people who tell me that they like things that I don't like, okay. I have no problem with you liking things that I don't like. I have no problem with your opinions. I have no problem with you having a certain disposition, but don't judge me, you know? Are you ever going to have a Rep 70 hero? Eventually. Did you enjoy cross country when you ran? Yes, I did like cross country when I ran. I liked the people I ran with. It was a good after school activity. How do you feel about being an influencer and someone that people look up to? It is nerve-wracking. It's one of those things where it's like, I want to leave a good impression on my audience. I want to make sure that the impression that y'all get of me, like the Raven you see me as, is someone that you can respect and look up to. And not only that, but that I'm leading by good example. We got him! Yay! All right, pick up our fallen brother. I need to go back and heal. They can handle that up front. I'm going to go to A. Besides, it's probably a good thing I go to A, because if I was playing for the enemy team right now, I'd be trying to sneak around and take A. So, that would be my plan of action. So, I'm going to heal up. But yeah, being a content creator, being someone that a lot of people... Stop it. Being someone that a lot of people look up to, it means a lot. I really don't know how to express to y'all just how big of a deal that is to me, that so many people see me as someone to look up to. A light spamming raider. I can do that too. Good job, Hito, you got me. I don't like that. A light spamming raider, I can do that too. Slice, 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 slice. Raven, why do you choose to name yourself Raven? Because it connects to my real name. Yeah, Hannah just texted me. Yay, Deborah won. Yes, she did. Hey Raven, on chapter 4 of book 2 and Lark's dead, you too, the form of a giant chaos Raven, and most of the Warhammer world is putting you a good fight, except Slanesh because they joined the monster. Oh, you're talking about the story you were creating of me versus the monster girls of Warhammer? No. Oh, what? What? How did I survive that? I should have died. Run away! Run quick, boys! He's after us! He's after us! He gon' get us! He gon' get us! I'll go turn around B now. Y'all enjoy that. Alright, got that. We got B. We're fighting for C. I'm going to go over and help at the fight for C. Hold on, dude. Oh, whoa, what? I thought I parried. Damn it. That didn't work out. I thought I'd do better than that. Oh, well. Raven, is there anything about One Piece that you don't like? I'll be real honest. The one thing that's bothering me right now about One Piece is it's starting to turn into every other shonen. Here's what I mean by that. One of the things I loved about One Piece over every other shonen was that when Luffy found new ways of defeating his opponents, I always felt like he really earned it and deserved it. Like when he beat Crocodile, he had to get creative with his fighting style. He knew that his normal way of fighting wasn't going to cut it, so he invented a new way of fighting using water. Because water was Crocodile's weakness. He'd done his research. He figured that out through combat. Hold on. Picking him up. When he fought, what was his name? When he fought Lucci, he invented 2 new ways of fighting based on what he'd seen CP9 do. When he fought Doflamingo, he had mastered his hockey and revealed another technique that he learned through training. Now, with his fight against Kaido, okay, spoiler alert, it's revealed that his devil fruit is a legendary fruit that makes him basically a god. And I'm like, are you for real? Doesn't that take away some of what was great about Luffy? You know, the fact that he was an underdog who no one knew was going to be the savior of the world. No one could see being the savior of the world, but now we reveal that his power is one that has a history behind it. I'll just be honest, I never liked that. I never liked when they do stuff like that. Because it's revealed that his power, the gum fruit isn't the only name for it. It's also human fruit, model, mythical model, Nika, the sun god. Like, what? I don't like that. I personally don't like that. Because to me, what was One Piece about? It wasn't just the story of Luffy. It was the story of the Straw Hat Pirates. It was the story of a group of pirates with Luffy at the helm. Granted, Luffy is the leader. But all of them, a misfit group of friends who all came from very difficult upbringings, but overcame that, came together, and now fight for a common cause. It was not only Luffy's stories. It was Zoro's story, Sanji's story, Nami's story, Chopper's story, Robin's story, Usopp's story, Frankie's story, Brook's story. It's about all these guys. Now it feels like it really is turning into what new level will Luffy come up with next? How much further is Luffy going to climb? Luffy's going to pull out this brand new power, and it turns out he's a god now. I don't know. To me, when they started separating the crew constantly, like after, it was after Punk Hazard, when they get to Dressrosa, they start separating the crew. And I'm like, stop that. Bring the crew back together. Now they're all on Wano, granted, but it just isn't the same. To me, I think it really started to go downhill for me personally after Dressrosa. After Dressrosa, I was kind of going, I don't know, can we get some levity? Like, say what you want about the Foxy arc. I know some people don't like the Foxy Pirates arc and the pre-time skip, but I loved it. Not only did it readdress the characters' connection with each other, because there was the fear of losing people in the crew, like actually losing a crew member, which was a real fear that they had to deal with, so there was kind of some fear there, you know? But there was also the reality that, it was a chance to take a breather. It wasn't as intense as what we'd seen before. It wasn't as intense as Skypiea. It wasn't as intense as Water 7 and Impel Down, and not Impel Down, sorry. Frick. And the Robin Rescue arc. Why do I forget the name? The CP9 battle arc. Enies Lobby, that was the name of it. Those were very intense, heavy, emotional, fight-oriented arcs, whereas with the Foxy arc, it's almost just played for laughs. It's a comedy thing. And that's what I think One Piece does so well. It balances its comedy with its action, and it knows when to take breathers. Like, for example, you could say that the Romance Dawn was the build-up. Then after Romance Dawn, you get Whiskey Peak, which was a little dramatic. Then we move on to, Little Garden. Little Garden was somewhat dramatic, but it had its funny moments too, so it was a good balance. Then we move on to Drum Island, which was definitely intense for Chopper. Then we move on to Alabasta, which started off comedic. We had some comedic episodes to get us started, but then it got serious. After that, though, we had the filler arc with the Rainbow Mist and these short filler episodes to breathe, let the audience sort of take in what's been happening and remember, oh yeah, this is a story about the crew. Then we move on to the Skypiea arc, which, again, like Alabasta, started off kind of comical, kind of silly, then got very serious as there was the threat of Inaru and all that kind of stuff. Then they fall from that and they do the best filler arc in any anime, bar none, the Navarone arc, where they land in this marine base. And it's so good because the characters are great. We see a new side to the Marines, because usually we just think of the Marines as the bad guys, but here they're actually very well written. They're actual people. They're characters with hopes, dreams, goals, aspirations. You actually sympathize with them. The villain isn't really a villain. He's Commander Jonathan, who's easily one of my favorite characters in the Marines. Just this absolute unit of a man. He doesn't even have any powers. He's just a brilliant strategist, and I love him. He's so cool. Plus, he has an excellent design. Then after that, they move on to the Foxy arc, which, like I said, was just a fun arc. Hold on. Damn, well, I see y'all really wanted to get this kill, didn't you? Yeah, there you go. Get him, son, who? But anyway, then you move on from the Foxy Pirate arc to the Water 7 arc. Mostly comical, mostly silly, but then we get some very intense moments with Luffy dueling Usopp and Usopp leaving the crew and Robin getting kidnapped. And then we move on straight from that into the CP9 arc, the Robin retrieval arc, which was very heavy, very serious, very emotionally impactful. But then we go on from that into this sort of filler arc, which wasn't as good, but it was lit. It was funny. It was kind of silly. We had some funny moments in it. And then after that, we move on to the Thriller Bark arc, which was a combination of really funny, with some very funny villains and some funny concepts, but also some intense moments, which really worked very well, I have to say. Hold on. Gah! I can't get a kill because I keep getting ganked over and over by you plebes. Did I get a kill? I got 2 kills. And right now we have 2 bots? Are you serious? Or did we gain somebody? I hope we gained somebody. I hate it when I have 2 bots on the team. So yeah, as we go through One Piece, you have your moments of comedy, you have your moments of seriousness, but lately, ever since Dressrosa, it's just been non-stop action. Run away! Yeah, you're real brave when you have a buddy. Gotcha. Here, let's have a drink. On me, huh? Yeah, well, in me, anyway. Nighty-night. We lost a team. Why? Why did you quit? Why did you quit? Stop it! Ugh. I hate when teammates do that. They just say, I'm done, bye. Maybe connection here, I don't know. But yeah, that's my biggest problem with One Piece right now. It just doesn't feel like the way it used to be. And I liked the way it used to be. Dang it. I killed one, but then they ganked me again. That's kind of a theme I'm noticing. Oh, well. Oh, the emote too, huh? The emote too. Hey, Berserker, how about you fight me on your own and try that? Raven, one thing I hate about One Piece is that it doesn't feel like anyone is ever at any real risk of dying. Sanji getting fried by Enel is played off as a sacrifice, but he doesn't die. Yeah, that is a problem with One Piece, I will admit. Very few people stay dead when they should stay dead. There are exceptions, like Ace is dead. He ain't coming back. Gold Roger is dead. He ain't coming back. Whitebeard is dead. He ain't coming back. Hero Look is dead. He ain't coming back. Hey! Ah, light spamming Warlord. Who could have seen that coming? Light spamming Warlords. They're the best kind of Warlords. Hold on, Yasuki. Yasuke? Is that what you're trying to go for? Or do you mean Yasuke? Are you trying to be Yasuke? Well, you spell it Yasuki. Or Yasuke. Or Yasuke. Yasuke, yeah. Hi, pirate!
An
What happened? I bled out? What? Why? We're winning and we lost 2 of our team again! Why? Why, people? Why? Stop quitting! Why are you quitting? We are winning! Oh my lord! We were winning and you just said, nope, yeet on out of that one. Why, though? We are winning this! Now it's up to me and the baby Hitakiri. Ugh.
Enemy team is breaking.
Fine.
The enemy rally. Enemy team is breaking.
You better run, Warlord. Here. Get him, Hitakiri. Let's kill him. Let's kill this clown. Yeah! Here, have a drink, buddy. It's on me. In me, but, on you too.
Victory.
Someone give me some love. Yeah. Yeah! Down it, boys. That's it. Woo! With 2 bots, we are victorious. That's what I'm talking about. That do be how it is sometimes, my boys. That do be how it is. That's some real shit. Anyway. Hey, Raven, do you meet the great Alexander Pot in Elden Ring? Yes, I met him. Speaking of pirates and privateers, hey, Raven, do you have any opinion on Sir Francis Drake? I think he was a pirate. I mean, kinda. Privateer. Whichever you want to call it. Hello, Locke. Locke has returned. Locke is back, everyone. Locke, do you wish to hop on with us real quick?
I suppose.
I'm moving into my last 2 Breach matches, so if you want to read off things. So we're going to do our last 2 Breach matches and call it a night, guys. So far, been a pretty good night. I think we've only lost, what, twice?
That's good.
Yeah. Had a moment where I did pretty well as a conk and
Conquer
almost clutched. We almost clutched that one. That was pretty good.
Baller.
Anyway. If you think of a big influencer in your life, how do you feel that you're that big influencer to some people, and do you suffer from any mental illness because of it? That's a good question. When I think about the influencers in my life, I don't think about YouTube channels. There's never been a YouTube channel that I looked at and I said, wow, he or she is such an inspiration to me. I want to be just like them. I think that there are influencers on YouTube who I think are funny and engaging and intelligent, but they're not necessarily people I want to be just like. Like, for example, I love Shadversity. I think he does a great job. I don't want to be just like Shad. I think he gets overly emotional about certain things that he doesn't need to get emotional about, and I think that he gets way too passionate about things that are non-issues. I think Metatron is amazingly intelligent, but I also think he has a bit of an ego. I don't want to have that ego. I think Russian Badger is hilarious. I don't want to be Russian Badger. I think he makes most of his living off of playing whatever games cross his desk, and I don't know if I could live like that. There are people out there that I think are amazing at what they do, but it doesn't mean that I want to model my life around them. There are people out there who I do try to model myself after. Like, for example, there was a man who, almost like a second father to me, his name was Cliff Satterwhite. He ran the camp that I went to as a young boy. He practically raised me when my dad wasn't there, like, you know, when I was at the camp. He taught me the scripture. He helped me figure out I wanted to be baptized. He was just always there. The more I think about it, he was just always there to help inspire me, to lead me in the right direction. There aren't a lot of people who I can say did that for me. And so when I think about someone that I'd want to be like, I think about my dad, of course, but I also think about Mr. Satterwhite. He was definitely one. that I would want to model myself off of. See, the way I think of it is a good influencer, a good person who you take influence from, is a person who you look up to more than just, oh, I think they're cool. It's, I wish I could be more like this person. I wish that I could model myself to be like this person. I want to have the same kind of attitude they have, the same kind of mentality they have. Now, have I ever gained any mental illness from trying to be like someone? No. I have gained mental illness from trying to teach people who did not want to be taught and being surrounded by people who would not help me do it. When I was teaching, when I was in the school system as a teacher, I dealt with classrooms full of students who did not want to learn. And more than that, they were incredibly disruptive, disrespectful, and they bullied me. I know that sounds weird, but the students bullied me in my own classroom. And you might think, well, you're the teacher. Discipline them. You gotta realize, guys, if you're not a teacher, you probably don't realize it, but being a teacher in this day and age is really hard because there's so much red tape. There's so much you're not allowed to do. There's so much you can't do. You can't spank the kids, obviously. No physical action can be done against them. If you lay your hands on a kid, even if it's to pat them on the shoulder and say, good job, that can be seen as bad. You can't publicly announce their grades. You could be sued for that. You can send them to the principal's office, but the principal isn't going to be able to do much. The best that they might do is say, oh, we're suspending you. Oh, great. The kid goes home. They didn't want to come to school in the first place. Go figure. You could give them detention. Well, all they'll do is just give you lip and dare you to keep them in the classroom. If you try this for a second. If I told a student, get out of your seat and go to the principal's office, and the student said no, what can I do? There's nothing I can. There's literally nothing I can do. I can't make them move. I can't pick them up and drag them. That's putting my hands on them. I can't call the principal to come get them because what can the principal do? The principal can't put hands on them. I could call the SRO. What could he do? He could lose his job. If the kid says, I'm not moving, okay. That's all there is to it. And one of the other problems I had was the administration had no interest in helping me succeed. They threw me into the teaching field in my first year without a helper, without a guide plan, without any kind of balance, without any kind of lesson plan templates to work off of. And at the same time, they were grading me on how good I was as a teacher. And if the kids acted up, that acted off on my grade. So some of the kids knew that I was being graded and would go, all right, let's screw around and throw off his grades. I think the worst moment for me, one of the moments where I realized, you know what, this is not working, was, I tell this story before, I'll tell it to y'all so that y'all can hear it. This happened to me my first year of teaching. I was teaching seniors in high school. Keep in mind, seniors in high school. You follow me? Seniors. And one of the lessons that I was teaching was context, like taking context from what you're seeing in text. So you see, when you read a text, sometimes the text isn't going to tell you exactly what you should be taking from something, so you have to read it for context. And so I was looking at the text and trying to say, okay, how can I teach these guys to look for context clues? And I decided, well, let's start with visual context clues before we look at literary ones, so that they can kind of get the idea. So I decided, how am I going to do that? Well, they like music videos, they like movies, stuff like that. So what I did was I said, I'm going to play for them a music video, specifically a K-pop music video. But the K-pop music video, it was a story about this girl who had this crush on a guy who worked at a pet store nearby, so she buys a parrot just to have an excuse to go see him. But she accidentally leaves the parrot at his place when she runs out in embarrassment, and he goes to redeliver the parrot. It's a pretty simple story to follow. And all I told the kids to do was write 3 or 4 sentences telling me what was the story about, what was the song about, and tell me by basing it on what you saw in the music video. There are no wrong answers. Just explain to me in 3 to 4 sentences why you think this is what the music video was about based on what you saw, and you have to use references from the music video. That seems easy, doesn't it? I'll bet some of you are like, wow, that seems really easy. I'll bet your class was real good at that. Most of the students chose not to do the assignment. Most just sat around talking on their phones, and when I asked them to do the job, or they would get poor grades, they started acting up, disrespecting me, and not wanting to actually do the damn work. It caused a huge scene in the classroom. 2 of the students just straight up walked out of the classroom, and it caused a whole incident down the hall. Now, later on that day, I got visited by one of the administrators, and the administrators said to me, so what happened? And I told the whole story about the lesson plan, about what I was doing. And she said this, I kid you not, she said this verbatim. Do you think that maybe the reason they acted out was you expected too much of them? The lesson you gave them was probably too advanced for them. It was more than they could handle, so they decided to act out in response. Guys, I'm going to remind you what it was. I asked them to watch a music video without subtitles and tell me what they thought it was about just by explaining what they saw in the music video. I can even leave a post later tonight with the music video I used in a post just so that you can see how simple this was. And they acted out because of it. And my response to that was, you're telling me analyzing a freaking music video is too advanced for high school seniors? That was their response. That was what they said. And I was like, you can't be serious. But worse than that was not that she said it was too advanced. She said the whole idea was it was my fault that they acted up. Not that the kids themselves were being needy little pricks, but that it was your fault. You must have done something. It was your lesson plan. Could you have found a better way to engage them?
To answer your question, Amir, basically yes.
What was Amir saying?
Do you live in the ghetto or something?
This school was in what's called a Title I school. Title I means that it is high impoverished, and that means most of the students can't afford education, so the government pays the education. Basically, the students can go to school completely free, get a free lunch and free breakfast. The school makes its money not from parents paying tuition, but from government funding. The government pays money to the school based on the number of graduating students. So the more students who graduate, the more funding the school gets. You can probably see why that's a horrible idea.
Were there any good students?
Yes, I had a few very good students. In both the schools I taught at, I had some wonderful students. Students who wanted to learn, students who were very interested in what I had to say, students who did their assignments. I had one student who actually got upset when she got a B. She wanted to get the A. I actually pulled a fast one on her because she said, I never get F's. And so for one of her assignments, I teasingly said, okay, come on up and see your grade. So what I would do is I would call the students up to come see their grade at my desk while they were doing their morning work. And as they walk up, I just showed her an F. And she went so pale. She was like, what? And I'm like, I'm joking. You got an A. Take your A and sit down. like this. But she was just so mortified. Like, no, I can't believe I failed. I'm like, I'm kidding. But, you know, I didn't mind having fun with my students, and I was so lenient. I made it clear from the beginning of the year, if you do your best, and I can tell you gave it your best, I will help you get through this class. I will walk you out the door. Okay? There's no excuse why you should fail my class unless you just did not try. And I was lenient. There were some students, they struggled. They had a hard time. They just really did. They just really had a hard time doing it. But I could tell they were giving it their best. I could tell that they were really trying. And so I gave them plenty of makeup work. I was lenient. I offered some curving with grades. I was willing to help those who showed the compassion and willingness to keep trying. Those who just quit and said, no, just English isn't for me, like that kind of thing, I can't help you. In order for me to help you, you've got to show me you want help. That was my thing. Anything else on there? Or
Yeah, a lot of them are just talking about like their experience. Like, yeah, like there's like one person, Anthony, says like, I went to a Title I school compared to the other students. I was an angel according to my teacher. Yep.
Yeah.
You were probably some teacher's reason to get up in the morning because like, at least I'll teach that one.
Oh yeah. It's like it's one of those things. Like, here's the thing, guys. I did not leave teaching because I didn't like teaching. I left because of the system. The system does not encourage students to learn. Here's the thing. I was doing research on the modern American school system versus the modern Japanese school system because I'm planning on eventually teaching in Japan one day. That's a goal of mine. You want to know what the biggest problem with the Japanese school system? Here's the biggest problem. It is so competitive that a lot of Japanese students will either work themselves to the bone or commit suicide when they don't get the grades they want. You see, the Japanese schools are incredibly competitive. How many of you guys have seen My Hero Academia, the anime? There's a bit at the beginning of the anime. You see Midoriya having to do a high school entrance exam where they have to fight these monsters, these giant robots, right? That's actually not too far off from the truth, because to get into a high school in Japan, you have to pass the high school's entrance exam. Very prestigious and high-ranking high schools have entrance exams that you want to pass to get into. That's why in junior high, you want to be doing your absolute hardest to earn your way into the high school you want to be in. That's the goal. You want to get those high grades, pass that entrance exam, and then get accepted. Because if you're in the better high school, that means better colleges are looking at you. So there's a lot of competition, and high schools won't take just any student. There are some high schools that say, we've only got 100 openings this year, and there are a lot of junior highs out there, so y'all better get some really good grades, because we're only taking the top 100. You know how competitive that gets? Japanese students have a lot to live up to, whereas here, it is illegal, no joke, illegal to hold back a student longer than 1 year. As in, a student could fail 1 year and repeat the grade, but you cannot hold them back again regardless of what their grade is. Do you see the difference? There is a fierce competitiveness in Japan, whereas there is just push them through, get them out of there, just move them along, nothing to see. That is so bad. That is so horrible. I feel so sorry for our school system and for the students going through it. Because I feel bad for the students who really, really try and really want to do well and outshine their peers. How are they ever going to know that they're the creme de la creme if they're always surrounded by the fools of this world? And I feel bad for the ones who don't try their hardest because they have no incentive to try their hardest, because the world tells them, hey, you're entitled to your victory. You're never entitled to victory or success. No one is walking along with successes and just saying, here you go. That's why getting the key to the city is such a big award, you know? You earned it. You did something special. Now everyone says, here. Why did I get this? I don't know, cuz. We need the money. That's what bothers me about it. That's what blows my mind about this. Now, I'm not saying that the Japanese school system is perfect. If I had to say one of the biggest problems with Japanese students today, it's that there's no incentive to learn creative thinking. I'll talk about this a little bit more, actually, when I do my Jake Park Dead by Daylight analysis. Even though he's in Korea, Korea has a very similar problem with their education. It's all about regurgitation rather than creative thinking. Basically, the idea is you could tell a Japanese student, you could ask a Japanese student, what was Shakespeare's most famous play? They can probably tell you not only the best play that he wrote, but the date that it was written. They can tell you bare bones facts. But if I ask them, okay, write for me your own original sonnet based on Shakespeare's style, they'd probably struggle with that, because the skill that they've developed is the ability to memorize and regurgitate, not how to think and develop for oneself. Not saying that they can't do it. They can, but that's not what they've been trained to do. It's not what they've been conditioned to do. They've been conditioned, again, because it's so competitive, learn fast, learn quick, memorize fast, and repeat facts, give it all back. It's harder, though, for them to say, okay, so think creatively, outwardly, which is why I admire mangakas, like the writers and creators of manga comics. Very creative people. They come up with the most insane ideas. But I love what they come up with most of the time. Even if I don't like the anime, sometimes I can at least say, wow, how did you come up with that? What?
I had a person in my class who got a B+ on an essay on a book he didn't even read. That's called Gaming the System and Spark Notes.
Yeah, that's called Spark Notes. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, final question for the night from Tobias. What do you think of everyone that is in the chat that is trying to get your attention? Does it stress you out that you can't read every message, or have you learned to let it pass you by?
At first, it really did stress me out. I felt so bad that I can't always answer every question, because I know that some people really want me to answer their questions, and it makes me feel bad that I can't. But at the same time, it's the reality of, like, you get one of two things. Either I'm going to play a game for you guys, and y'all can watch me play, and I can answer a few questions as I play the game, or I can sit here and read your questions as they scroll by and not watch anything, but know that I'll get to all of your questions because I'm not doing anything else. I think y'all would rather watch the gameplay as well as hear me talk. I think. Now, if y'all would rather me just do Q&A sessions more often, I don't mind doing them more often, but it's kind of one of those things I just have to kind of live with. It's like, some questions will get answered this round, some won't, but my true fans will come back to the next stream and hope I get it there, and they'll come back again and again and again until their questions get answered, and by that point, they may have more questions. You never can now?
Never can. Okay, let's see. Hey, what chaos guy do we connect to? Out of all of them, probably Zneach.
Oh, Zeke. You bird brain.
Regularly in English class, I was partnering up with someone for a peer-reviewed essay on books, and the classmate I was paired with could not write properly at all, but was legitimately unbelievable. Yeah, that's, you see some stuff like that, because it's very weird to me. Like, I'm also a teacher, and the stark difference is, like, between, like, there's typically in high schools, you have 3 levels in the American high school system. You have AP, which is advanced placement, which is basically you're going for college credit. Honors, which is, well, honors. And then you have what's called, in the schools I've been in, CP, meaning college prep. It really should just be called
basic.
Basic or remedial. And generally, like, AP kids are generally better behaved, but they're neurotic. Because if you give them a bad grade, they will panic. And so, and you just have to sort of like calm them down, like, it's okay, it's fine. You can you'll have other opportunities. You'll find honors, kind of a little bit more laid back, but they're used to being told like they're typically like pretty talented, pretty special, and some of them, to their credit, are. But sometimes they let that go a little bit of their head. But generally, they're very well behaved and fun to work with. CP kids is a toss-up because sometimes you'll get kids that are very well behaved. They're actually at that level and they need the extra help and attention to sort of like just stay on grade level. And there's others that just don't want to be there.
Right.
And so
I taught CP and honors, so those are the 2 that I taught. But anyway, yeah, now you know more about my teaching career.
Yep. Okay. Oh, here's some more questions.
Last match of the night.
All right. Oh, got a lot of questions coming in. Well, I'm going to college in the. This is Ecstatic Ethan, by the way. I'm going to college in the next few months. Any advice?
Keep your head on your shoulders, don't do drugs, and don't fall into the crowd, man. You know, like that. That's honestly what I would tell you.
I'm going to give you the same advice that one of my math teachers gave me. In any college, there's 2 sets of people you want to be friends with very early on. The cafeteria workers, for obvious reasons, and the nurse.
Again, for obvious reasons.
Because here's the deal. I heard, he told this man, wise beyond his years. He told me a story of how he had gotten real good with the nurse, and he woke up late. He overslept, and he realized he was about to miss his final exam. What was he going to do? So he's sitting outside trying to figure out what he's going to do, and then a bee flew along and actually bumped into him, just flew on off, and he went, "Oh no, I got hit by a bee." And so he goes to the nurse. "I'm afraid I have been hit by a bee. Would you please explain that to my teacher and write me a pass so that I could go and take my final exam?" She said, "What, of course I could." Wrote him off a pass, handed it to him. Professor took it as though he was actually stung by a bee and he was allergic and needed attention. He passed the class. So, sometimes, once you get there, you gotta know how to form connections.
Correct. Anyway, you said more questions were falling in?
Oh, yeah, we got plenty.
We gotta
Raven, how do you name your characters without it being too generic?
Oh, that takes time. Like, genuinely, I have to really sit down and think hard about how I want to... Like, Ruth was actually kind of easy because she connected to the... Ruth, from the Bible, connected very much to the story that I was creating. The one that was really hard was Sojiro. Sojiro was a little tricky, but it was because of his hair and eye color. Sojiro can be interpreted as blue, and so I was going off of the hazy blue eyes, so that was part of it. Sometimes sometimes I have to do some real in-depth research to pick out a name, and other times it just comes to me. You know?
How would you recommend for like a writer like that? How would you recommend so that they don't get like John Smith?
Well, really sit down and feel out your character, sometimes the name will just come to you. Other times, you can look up translations of names from other cultures or places. Sometimes the translations help. Other times, the name just kind of has to feel right. It's I wouldn't say just rush a name. Definitely don't rush a name. Don't just say, okay, your name's going to be Johnny, you know, because
Jimbo.
I haven't written a Johnny in a while.
Yeah.
Like, be very, like, for example, I'll give you an example. When I named Michelle from Monster Club, I named her Michelle because I genuinely thought, as I was just reading out her character, writing down notes about how she looked, what she acted like, how she led things, I thought Michelle sounded right. I thought Michelle just felt like the right name. I can't explain it any other way than that. Like, I can't say, oh no, it means this, therefore. No, I literally, it just came down to what I thought sounded like the right name for it.
Yep. So that's pretty good. Hey Raven, will you play Shaolin more after the rework?
Probably. I want to try out his rework.
Raven Lark, what is your favorite fantasy being in all the mythology and folklore of our world? So I guess we're having to pick our favorite sort of mythology.
Norse mythology is pretty baller, not gonna lie. But I'm a Christian, so I'm gonna go off of that Christian.
Well, we're not talking about like mythology, not like what we actually believe as far as relative theology. Because probably for me, like if I'm excluding like looking at the Old Testament and stuff like that, I probably have to go with Greco-Roman mythology, just because I know so much more about it, just because so much more was written down. I will admit though, it really pains me that Celtic mythology isn't more widely, like, they didn't write it down because the Druids for some reason just refused. Like, they knew how to write. They could write in Greek, but they refused to write it down, which irritates me. Yeah, and then the Romans, they hunted Druids down. So, yeah. Hey Raven, did any of your special needs students give you problems when you were a teacher?
Some, but they weren't really problem. Only one really gave me problems with behavior. Only one ever gave me a problem with behavior, like where they acted out in class. But usually, when they have that kind of issue, they have a special needs teacher in the room with them to help keep them in line and to help monitor them. Otherwise, they weren't really much of an issue. Most of the time, what I had issues with the special needs students is helping them understand the nature of the assignment.
All right. And Raven, did you enjoy cross country when you ran?
Yeah, I answered that. I did enjoy it. I liked it. I answered that earlier.
All right. And Duncan Kingston, so for background on this, he's apparently moving to the United States. I don't know for how long, because apparently his father got a job at the University of Illinois, which congratulations on that, by the way.
Cool.
He's like, since I'm going to move there in a few months, how do I fit into American society?
Be yourself. Genuinely, the best thing I can say is, one of the great things about America is we really are a melting pot. The majority of places you go, the majority of places you go, people are going to respect you or at least, treat you as one of us. Very rarely will you get, like, I know that you hear all these horror stories about, oh man, America's just so racist or bigoted or xenophobic. We're really not. You're not likely to see that underbelly of America. I mean, it's there, don't get me wrong. There are some people like that, but it's not nearly as fragrant as you've probably been told. Genuinely, be yourself. Don't draw attention to yourself. Respect the people around you. Show common decency and manners. You'll probably turn out okay.
Yeah. I mean, to put things into perspective, like, typically most people are actually going to be kind of fascinated to know that you're from another country, particularly if you go to an area that isn't used to getting foreigners. Like, anytime, for example, one of our best friends that goes to our church, he's from Zambia. And his name's Timwa. We love that guy.
Timwa's amazing.
Yep. He's also, he has a very dry sense of humor, so you have to watch him because he'll come right after you. Like, he's a workaholic, though. He needs to calm down. But he's very much blended into American society pretty well, but you can tell he's not from here just because he has a very strong accent, which sounds really cool. Someday I may have to get him record something because, again,
Timwa's an absolute.
He's got the voice of an angel, and I mean like a biblical angel, like the be not afraid angel. But yeah, if you just come here, and I say the biggest thing is don't knock American culture, right? If you like have some misgivings like this doesn't make sense to me, like it's one thing to ask questions, but don't just go like my country or my culture is better than you. Because wouldn't you hate it if an American came to your country and started just talking smack about, oh, yours is so much better? And I'm sure that's happened, and that guy's obnoxious, and you probably want to kick him right where the sun doesn't shine. Don't be that guy. And the same thing, I remember one of the most like this guy wasn't a foreigner, but he was from out of state. He was from New Jersey, upstate New Jersey, right? Like you know that part of New Jersey that has an inferiority complex because they're not New York. And I had to sit next to this man in a cramped van across 3 states going through the deep south, and he was just talking smack about it the entire time, talking smack about where I grew up. I wanted to punch him so hard in the face. Now, I didn't because good Southern home training dictates being polite. But it's just we never got along, and he couldn't for the life of him figure out why, even though others tried to explain it to him.
Like, you're basically dissing a Southerner about where he came from.
Yeah. The same thing's like, if I go, like, I joke about the northern part of the United States, but if I went up to the north, I went up to the U.S., the northern U.S., I wouldn't talk smack about it right to their face. I might poke a little bit, but as long as everybody understands it's all fun. Like, I have friends from a lot of countries. I have friends from all over the U.S. We tend to just look past, like, hey, this is where you're from, and we care more about who you are as a person. And the thing is, if you're finding people that are judging you based on where you're from, you probably don't want to hang around those people.
Anyway, next question. We kind of spent a little bit of time on that.
Deep subject. Hey, Raven, have you ever read about any odd events in history?
Many. There have been lots of odd events in history.
Like, how odd are we talking?
Like, I think that's the real question. Like, when you say odd, what do you mean?
It's like, how odd, like, hey, this guy rose from a low-ranking station to achieve greatness, or the Dutch ate their prime minister odd. Like, there's a wide range of odd there.
Oh, there's lots of odd.
But is there any even?
Who's that for?
It's like, you're just wondering if you enjoy cross country.
I've answered that. It's
No,
done.
I think that he posted that twice, but like right as we were like going through. There is a bit of delay here. Yep, I'm in Canada, and my history teacher hates America. He's so annoying.
Yeah, okay, Canada, you ain't got any room to talk. If you want me to start crap talking Canada, we can do that.
I feel kind of bad for like a lot of Canadians because the point is they're having a bit of an identity crisis to a degree because a lot of the time like their identity was like, hey, we're British, we decided to remain loyal, and now like as they're moving on, they're still trying to like re-identify how they work, and that can vary from like province to province.
Well, the way I see it, it's like this. Like, here's the thing. Canada, I got nothing against you. I don't want to insult you. I don't want to make fun of you. That's not what I'm about. But if you start giving me superiority crap like we're better than you Americans, I'm going to say, Canada, do you want to play this game?
Well,
I will play this game.
Well,
you won't like how it ends.
Thing is, it depends like a lot of where you come from in Canada. Like I met a guy from I met people from Toronto. Typically, have no beef with them. From Alberta, they're an interesting breed, but I like them. British Columbia and Quebec typically are the most interesting, to put it in a polite term. Not that everybody in like there is the same. It's just that's the trend I've noticed. Hey Raven, what's your opinion on Ezio Auditore's character?
It's a fun character. Probably my favorite of the assassins we've seen in games.
Probably most well-rounded.
Yeah, definitely. He had 3 games to help him become well-rounded.
Yeah, I think it's probably this. Cuban warlord. God. Our American education system hates our teachers and staff, and in turn that gets passed down to the students. Either that or just straight through. Cuban warlord, you have no idea how right you are.
It's true. Like, I'm sure a lot of people in my chat right now are the kind of people who say, man, my teachers just don't understand me and they're all jerks. You don't realize how much the teachers cut. No teacher started teaching because they said, I want to abuse students and be an absolute tard. No, they came in wanting to teach students, and what drove them to insanity were students who gave them shit. I guarantee you. I feel like these guys are friends.
Possibly. Raven, what is your standpoint on kangaroo bone marrow?
I know nothing about kangaroo bone marrow.
It is the bestest of kangaroo bone marrow, I assure you.
It's the best bone marrow out there as far as I know.
Yep, it'll give you a good day, mate.
This goes without saying. The right way to do your bone marrow is to take it from a kangaroo, it's right. Crikey. I'm doing an horrible Australian accent.
And I kind of went a little British there for a second.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a... Australian is the southern British.
Yep. Yeah, basically. I've heard somebody say, like, Australia is basically British Texas.
yeah,
I'm not sure that's a perfect comparison, but that's close
it's
enough.
close enough.
One of my favorite things, like, I was reading for a project back when I was in college. I was reading Regiment of South Carolina Soldiers in World War One, and they were stationed on the front lines right next to an Australian unit, and they talked about how they loved each other because literally. What they do is like, you like to drink, we like to drink. You like to burn stuff on the grill, we like to burn stuff on the grill. It was a match made in heaven. Like they gushed about like, oh, we love these Australians, they're great.
Anyway, on with the questions because we're doing the look through now.
All right. Okay, which is Canadians compare to the Americans a lot, and it infuriates me. Yeah, I understand. Oh, how do you feel about the Emu War? Emu Wars.
The Emu Wars. It wasn't just a war. It was
There's two.
wars. One of the most hilarious conflicts to ever happen in history.
That is fun. I remember seeing like this one meme where like the Japanese, like in the Japanese zoo, some emus escaped because of like a hurricane that came through or like tsunami or whatever. And so like there was a meme of, like the Australians leaning in. Do you fear death?
Do you not fear death?
Hey Lark, who's more incompetent, the Railroad or the Cult of Cosmos?
Ooh,
that is a great...
That's a very good question.
That is a terrific question. So terrific. I'm going to lean this in a little closer. Now, at first, you might
keep it brief.
I will keep it brief. At first, you might suspect the Cult of Cosmos just because they kind of have no idea what they're doing. However, I'm going to have to give it to the Railroad for being most incompetent because at least the Cult of Cosmos, they really kind of completed their objective at the end of the day. They really didn't know what to do after that, and they just kind of kept being idiots afterwards, but at least you can argue they did it. The Railroad, I don't know how they even wake up in the morning. I don't know how they function. Because unless you were there to literally do everything for them, they're worthless and weak, and those are their good points. But moving on.
Okay.
Hey Raven, in your opinion, what year is the golden year or years of YouTube?
Probably the mid to late probably the early 2010s, you know, like 2000, like from 2010 on to about 2015 or 16. Those are the years that I think YouTube was at its best. But then again, I haven't been on YouTube long enough to really know. Like, when did my career start? 2021?
No, I think it started like really. You started going like for a large portion in like 2020. Anyway, let's see. Oh, Duncan said thanks for the advice. Yeah,
I know. No problem, man. Glad to offer it.
All right. We already talked about Ezio.
We already brought up Ezio.
We love Ezio. It's almost like, dang, I didn't think he had that high of a rep. Oh, yes. Since day one, he's been grinding. Since day one.
Since day one, people.
Yep. Oh, yes. Is it weird that I speared the leader of the cult? Nah, not really.
No.
Okay. Isn't America the Texas of Britain? Not like you could argue that before the revolution, but then again you wouldn't have the Texas before that. Then we kind of left and did our own thing, and then Australia had to fill that in for us.
No, see, we're not the Texas of Britain because that would imply that Texas at some point left America successfully.
Yeah, there was that. They did try that 4-year stint. Then again, we were part of that.
I had to add successfully there.
Yeah, we were part of that too. We can't talk too much about that.
True.
It was a weird 4 years. We had an identity crisis. We don't talk about it. Actually, a lot of us do talk a good deal about it.
Yeah, it's become a very hot button issue, even though it really shouldn't be.
It's like
it should be a piece of history. We acknowledge it happened. Now we move on. Damn it.
Let's just agree to never let Sherman down through Georgia again.
Let's not.
The man has. I do love those. Like, hey, let's make a tank named after him and put a flamethrower attachment on it, and everyone's just like, brilliant idea.
Look, here's the thing. Let's not have Sherman walk through any places he doesn't need to go. Let's not enslave people based on race, and let's not blockade people's harbors when we're just trying to do trade with other countries. Okay, as long as we don't inflict on other people's human rights and liberties, I think we'll all be okay. Canada. Sorry, had to throw that in there.
And it'll okay. Now,
They kind of. Oh, okay.
okay. A person. Hey, Raven and
I thought I was making it good.
you did. Hey, Raven and Lark. Who is your favorite Star Wars bounty hunter, or have you already answered it? I don't think we've talked about that.
I don't think we've ever. I don't know that.
My favorite Star Wars bounty hunter is my character from the Old Republic.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely mine too. Leah Tai.
Oh, that's funny.
Leah Tai is my favorite Star Wars bounty hunter. She's the one I made, so.
That's why it's our favorite. In reality, probably my favorite would probably be a tie between Django or Cad Bane.
Not. Yeah, probably them.
Because Cad Bane's like just.
Cad Bane's a unit.
Yeah, also the hat. I love the hat.
He looks like an alien Alucard.
He looks like an alien cowboy, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, there you go. Very much the Western guy.
America would be like, can't pay your taxes because you're too close to the threshold. You're gonna have to fight a war on the other side of the world because we feel like it. we occasionally listen. The real thing you need to know about America is don't mess with our boats. That's the big thing. Don't mess with the boats.
Do not damage our toy ships, or we will wreck.
Do not even threaten. Because literally, we went to World War I because Germany was saying Mexico, hey, we're about to start up unrestricted submarine warfare, and American boats are going to get hit. And we blocked out everything else past that because we're like, mess with the boats? You can't mess with the boats. Literally, the Maine blows up. No one knows what the heck happened, but we immediately assume Spain must have messed with it, so we declare war. Barbary War. The Barbary pirates start attacking our boats. We go and we wreck them a new one. And they're just like, how the heck did they even get over here? Just in case you thought us interfering in the Middle East was a recent thing. Since, like, day one... Actually, it was under Thomas Jefferson, so, like, day 3. But still.
It was day 3.
Okay, I got it.
You gotta calm down now, man. You made your point.
Indeed. Lark, and Raven, do you think that Shangri-La would have been based on an actual thing in history? I'm not familiar enough with Shangri-La to actually make a determination.
Me either. I don't know enough about it.
Okay, here's a good question. What is your opinion on the Assassin's Creed series in general?
Assassin's Creed had a great premise starting out. I loved it from the first game all the way through the Ezio series. The third game was a bit of a letdown. Nothing terrible, just a bit of a letdown because it's not what I wanted and it was handled poorly in my opinion. I could probably do a whole video on that. Then it went on from there, and ever since then, it was going downhill to the point that even though the more recent games like Odyssey and Origins are pretty good, they're not Assassin's Creed games, and you can't convince me they're Assassin's Creed games. They are basically open world RPG games with the name Assassin's Creed slapped onto it to get people to buy it. And Assassin's Creed Valhalla is just not good. I do not like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I think the creators know that Assassin's Creed Valhalla isn't that great.
But it sold the most, so...
But it sold the most because Vikings, yay!
That just seems like, if you're going to do... I wish we could have... I'll have to do a whole video on Valhalla later.
Yeah, we'll talk Valhalla. Eventually, we do need to kickstart.
Speaking of Assassin's Creed, there's a question like, what do you think of Black Flag?
Black Flag is an amazingly fun and entertaining pirate game. Nothing to do with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, they really should have just called it Pirates Creed. Say, it's in the Assassin's Creed universe, but you're a pirate. Let's just...
Oh, but he joins the Assassins later.
Don't care. He's a pirate.
Don't care. He's a pirate.
He's a pirate. He literally does not join until, like, the last act of the game.
Ezio wasn't an assassin at first either. Yeah, but he joined, like... He was helping the assassins at the very least. With Kenway, you can't even say that he was helping. He just helped whoever suited his interests.
Indeed. Okay, and...
You could say Ezio was an assassin without the name. Edward was wearing an assassin's clothes but doing pirate things.
Okay, let's see. Does Australia have any state equivalent to Florida in weirdness?
I don't know the states of Australia.
I don't even call them states. If I was a gambling man, I'd probably guess Tasmania, but that's just me. I'm not 100%.
Tasmania!
Now.
Not the Tasmanian devil.
Alright. Hey, Raven and Lark, what are your opinions about the Yandere?
Yandere? Like, you mean Yandere Simulator? No, Yandere's... Like, what are my opinions on Yandere as an anime trope?
I mean, it can be funny, as long as you don't take it too seriously.
As long as it's done in jest, it can be incredibly entertaining and funny. when you take it to an extreme, or you focus the entire anime around this character, I get very uncomfortable.
It's like, ooh, yeah. Okay, let's see. Lark, I love your Railroad and Cosmos videos for how funny they are. Stormcloaks and House are fun, and also show while they're good, they're still flawed, and the Empire and Brotherhood are just the best. Well, I mean, well, what can you say? When I get it right, I get it right. And occasionally I get things wrong, and don't worry, I have you guys to tell me when I get that wrong.
Exactly.
Oh, Anthony Six, send in the devil dogs. Trench gun, go. Amen, Tony. Amen.
Amen, brothers.
All right. Oh crap! Hold on.
What? What'd you do?
Got a bot.
Oh, get rid of it. What'd the bot start doing?
He started spamming stuff, so remove.
Well, remove that shit. Gotta hate when the bot shows up.
Crap! Hold on.
Having trouble there.
Yeah, I'm just recording him now.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's someone from the Discord.
No, it's just like some whatever. Okay, we got rid of it.
Okay. Well, I mean, we keep getting hit by bots. It's got to be someone that.
No, I think it's just like they check. Hey, Raven Lark, how do you feel about the Halo TV series?
It's abysmal. Thank you. I especially like the news that most of the creators had never even played the games. I'm like, oh, because that's what we need to play this. That's what we need to be creating a show for us. People who've never even played the freaking game.
It's just so ridiculous. I mean, the idea that's like, hey, we're gonna make Master Chief the protagonist of Halo. Yeah, that guy. She's gonna be in the show. Cool. But he's gonna be a side character in the show. Why?
Why would you make Master Chief the side character in his own franchise?
I mean, it's kind of sad that Red vs. Blue, unironically now, made a better series than like a professional studio team.
Yep.
That's really kind of sad. But the thing is, like, Halo is such an interesting lore to work with, and instead of trying to like, hey, let's tell about some Spartans from like sort of the side story behind them, you are so uninspired. You basically say, let's just make Master Chief look bad. Basically, they saw the Masters of the Universe remake and how they sidelined He-Man and said, everyone hated that. Let's do the same thing with Halo. But I thought people hated it. I don't care. We're still going to do it. Ridiculous. Raven and Lark, what's your opinion on the God of War series? Who starts Greeki, then mix it with... Oh, how they start with Greek mythology and then mix it with Norse mythology?
I've never played the original God of War games where it was the Greek mythology stuff, so I can't speak to that. I played the Norse mythology one. It had some interesting concepts and ideas. I thought that it was kind of creative. And I didn't like the reality that it kind of... But then again, they made the Norse gods evil, but then again, I realized that that's kind of God of War's thing. All the gods are evil, and... To
be fair, they didn't have to work too hard with the Greek gods.
Yeah, you didn't have to work too hard with the Greek gods, but I don't know. The Norse gods were always displayed as, kind of neutral. They don't really... They're not out to protect humanity necessarily, but they're not out to destroy it either. They're just kind of there. But in here, they made it sound like Odin was a control freak and all that kind of nonsense. But regardless, as a game, it was cool. The sequel that they're coming out with, I think, is awful looking. Like, everything that they're doing with it, I'm like, no, stop it.
Well, one thing I will add, though, about that is I actually kind of like how they handled Baldur, because that's an interesting way to take on, like, the fact that he, like, because we know that he was sort of, like, pretty much invulnerable because of the... Like, one would think it would be a blessing, but he points out it's a curse.
Yeah, I thought that was a very creative idea. I will give it that.
Yeah, that was nice. I'll have you know, Microsoft Store PowerPoint Plus has the Halo series as being a 1.8 out of 5-star rating. Oh, that's too generous. They need to they need to bump that down.
That's insane. Anyway, let's get 3 more questions in, and we probably need to call it.
Okay. Not sure if you've been asked this. Historically, among knights, Viking, and samurai, who would you say was a key figure in each of them and earned their place in history? So basically, you're picking who you believe is the best key figure out of each of those 3 classes.
The key figures out of those 3, trying to pick. I don't know all of them by name. That's my thing.
Yeah.
With samurai, they've got names out the wazoo.
Well, they change their names.
Well, they change their names all the time, but I really do think that if you had to really pick, Tokugawa Ieyasu is probably one of the most prominent samurai in history. I know he's a daimyo, but he was samurai class.
Still technically.
Still counts. He was the one who brought Japan into the Edo period. He was the one who created the era of peace that Japan flourished off of. You can't deny that the dude was very, very important.
If we're ruling out daimyo, wouldn't it be like the master?
It would also be
duelist?
Miyamoto Musashi.
Yeah,
Miyamoto Musashi would also be one of the pinnacles. Absolutely, one of those two. As for Vikings, Eric Golderson.
Eric, I also might go if you want to go for like the more on the warpath. Might go for someone like Ivar the Boneless or Ragnar Lothbrok.
Or Leif Erikson.
Erikson wasn't as big into the rating stuff.
Well, I'm talking about like named individuals.
Yeah, they would be up there. But
as for knights, the problem is you don't get a lot of named knights in history.
there are a few, but a lot like the ones that are ironically more famous are like often have like some sort of mythical undertone, like El Cid.
Like El Cid is a myth.
He might have been based off of an actual dude.
Well, then that's like saying Robin of Locksley.
I know. Robin of Locksley has less historical basis.
Yeah, Robin of Locksley is probably a made-up character. Here's the reason why. Knight names usually don't go down in history as much as kings and lords who ran those knights did. Like, everyone knows King Richard the Lionheart, but he wasn't a knight. He was a king. Unlike a daimyo who was born to a samurai family, a king is not a knight.
Yeah.
A king is a lord, you know? Mm-hmm. A daimyo comes from a samurai family. A knight is a position. That's one of the biggest differences between samurai and knights. People always say, a samurai is just a Japanese knight. Kind of, but not really. A samurai is not just a status symbol, it's a family position. It's a family type. You have your status in the society as a samurai, and being a samurai means you're of the upper crust. In feudal Europe, a knight was a status symbol, yes, but it was an occupation as well. You were not just necessary. You could be born into a knight family, but you couldn't rise up to become king. You had to be born into the royal family unless there was a coup and then you replaced them.
You still had to like have some trace of lineage back to like some.
Right. The kings in medieval Europe really took royal lineage very seriously. So there is that. Those would be our takes. I know that people are going to say, "Oh, what about this samurai or this Viking or this knight?" We're just naming the ones off the top of our head that we remember.
Yeah, I agree, brother Lorcath. William Marshall is a good example.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yep. There's also one in the 100 Years' War that I just can't remember his name off the top of my head, but like he put the exemplars of chivalry, even though he had in his younger years he was a bit rambunctious.
Well, I mean, aren't we all?
All right. Oh, and Raven, don't worry, the Halo TV series is not canon. Thank you.
Good.
Okay, let's see.
I want my own Halo story to be canon.
It would make more sense. Raven and Lark, I don't know if you guys have a different area to talk to. If you have a different area to talk to you fellas, because I heard of Discord as hell, but I heard that you talk about heroes to talk about their strengths and weaknesses. You can still go to the Discord. Raven isn't in there as often as he used to be. I still occasionally pop in. Honestly, it's not as bad as it was.
Yeah, we've gotten rid of a lot of the problems.
It's just a little more calm and quiet now.
The thing is, what happened before was, and I'm not going to go into what happened, but here's why it's become calm. Previously, we had a lot of people on there who were very active, but were trolls. We removed the trolls because of what they did towards me. Then the place kind of had this whole civil war thing going where people were siding with the trolls or siding with me. The people who sided with the trolls tried to antagonize me so that I'd kick them there. And after we kind of weeded them all out, now the place is, it's not dead, but it's much more quiet and calm now, with a lot of the trolls gone, or the people who just weren't invested or trying to cause trouble. So you can go on there now, if you really want to, and add your 2 cents. Or you can DM me if you want. I just might not respond very quickly because I've got a lot going on and I don't respond to every message that I get.
Alright, and here's an interesting question. Who do you choose to be the next divine in Dragon Age Inquisition? Personally, I go with Lady Cassandra, who was the best choice. Liliana or Vivian. I think Mother Giselle should have been a candidate. I agree with you on that last one. Mother Giselle would have been the most sensitive.
Mother Giselle was a fine candidate. I sided with, what's her name?
You said Cassandra?
No, not Cassandra.
I personally sided with Vivian.
Yeah, that was her name. Sorry, I forgot her name. I sided with Vivian.
Because, one, it shakes up the things, but if you talk to the three of them, she's the one that's probably the most orthodox in terms of belief, and it helps sort of mend the schism between mages and...
Well, Cassandra's not a diplomat.
She's not, and I think she would be really uncomfortable. Plus, typically when I make a male warrior run-through, I have them get with her, and if she becomes a divine, that can't happen, so...
Right.
There's a little shipping. Liliana is just too radical to be in the position.
Oh, no, Liliana...
She would shake up too much. Vivian, other than her being a mage, it works. She's probably, in my opinion, she understands diplomacy the best. She understands the dangers of magic and can explain that to mages in a way that they would understand it and make sense. And so, by all arounds, I think she is the best candidate.
Vivian was the best candidate, no question.
Yep, and not to mention, she has no other loose ends. Like, her person she was in love with has already passed away, so everything works out. All right. And...
Is that it?
I think that's just... Oh, here's one last question.
One last question. All right.
What is one thing you would want to do, but you did not have the means to do it? It's a question for both of us, apparently.
Something we'd want to do but never had the means?
Yes.
I want to travel the world, man. We don't have the means of doing that yet. I don't have the money. We don't have the time. We don't have the freedom. I want to travel the world. I want to see everything. I also want to get married. But I don't have the means of that yet. I don't even have a girlfriend.
We'll get to that someday. But
I'm a hopeless romantic.
Indeed.
I want love, man.
For me, there's several video game concepts I would love to be made.
I remember you talking about traveling the world and
I would say that too, but I don't want to just go ditto.
I mean, yeah, but
because the thing is, if I was able to
you up in here designing video games,
it's like if I was able to make video game TV show or whatever, I could have the finances to do said thing.
No, agreed. I understand that. I'm just saying. I just think that's so funny that I'm getting all like deep and romantic. You're just like, man, I want to make a video game.
The other option I was going to say is I want a mocap suit so I can make better memes. For
yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be awesome to get a mocap suit.
But those are just ludicrously expensive.
And I can't, considering how tall I am.
No, you can move the things around.
Oh,
listen, like the guy they got to mocap and voice. I can't remember his name first. Like the main antagonist in Red Dead and Red Dead 2.
I can't remember either.
Arthur, that guy. He's like 6'8", so.
Oh, sick! Yeah, they could make.
Yeah,
one
so they can make it happen.
I'm 6'5", so but they could do it.
Oh, and one last thing, you too. If you've played Battlefield 1, what's your opinion on the war stories?
You played Battlefield 1.
You actually did. You looked through them a little bit.
I looked through it some, but you played every campaign mission.
Yeah, yeah. I liked them for the most part. I was a little upset, we got introduced to the Harlem Hellfighters, but we didn't really do much afterwards. It was just like hey, this is Battlefield, and hey, they're here. I would have liked to actually have done a real campaign with them. The British tank one was probably the best well done. I wasn't too much of a fan of the American plane one. It was kind of clever, but it just didn't for me. I wanted the Australian one and the Italian one to be longer because I really, really liked both of those. But I felt like they were just sort of rushed for time and they had make it concrete down. The girl that was working with Lawrence of Arabia, I liked that one. But if they really wanted to get a female fighter in World War I, they could have gone with either one of the girls that fought in the Battalion of Death in Russia or the soldier in uniform in Serbia. The woman in uniform, Sabaton wrote a song about her, and that could have been a really good real-life example to do it. But, all in all, I think they were good. They were much better than the war stories in Battlefield 5, but that's a rant for another time. Anyway, will you grow out a beard? We both have beards.
We both have beards, yeah. Anyway, I think that wraps it up.
All right.
Well, I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Very interesting stream. We went longer than I expected, but Lark got to join us, which was cool. So just a quick update about what's going to happen this week. So you know, tomorrow, the Dead by Daylight analysis video will release on Jake Park. I've got that done. It's ready to release. I'll have it scheduled for tomorrow. This probably will be the only stream I do this week because I work a lot this weekend, and that's going to be kind of a booger. Still dealing with some personal issues of depression and things like that, so keep me in your prayers and thoughts as I go through that. That's kind of a big issue for me. Working on the Prince of Egypt video, scripting that out, reading over all the scripture that I need to make that look good. Hopefully we'll get that done soon. And as I released today, you've seen it. The next Heroes in History is going to be on Jung Joon. I decided to just go ahead and get him out of the way because I've already got like a 3-part series on him, and I wanted to go ahead and knock that one out. And also Revna, the Berserker you see up here, she's going to be the next Legends character. Hope you're excited to see her. That's about all I have for right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will, as always, see you in my next video. Take care.